Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well. We have gathered today to take a look at the newest iteration of Magic the Gathering Welcome Boosters, specifically the Innistrad Midnight Hunt Edition. Now, I have to say, this might be my favorite Welcome Booster artwork so far. I mean, technically, this is only the third one that I've opened, so there's not a lot to compare with. But I dig this, like, icy pumpkin with the candle on it. It's got the current flavor of Innistrad, that Harvest Festival kind of setup with the candle guides and the encroaching night and everything getting colder and darker. But anyways, I wanted to point out on the back of the pack, it says to take a survey to tell wizards what you think about Magic. But when I went to go to this link, it actually wasn't available. So I don't know if the link isn't up yet, and this is just me kind of, getting ahead of myself. But I thought that I would point that out. And it says it's got the little hashtags here as well, and then it talks about the contents of the package as well. It contains 7 game cards and 3 traditional foil game cards. So we can expect that there'll be 10 different Magic cards in here, although the pack looks like it probably has more. So there's probably going to be some of those additional inserts that they include as well. So let us take a look, starting off with Welcome to the World of Magic. Here are some cards to help you get started. And is there anything on the other side of this one? Make new friends every Friday night. Your local game store has Magic events every Friday. I do like that. You know what? Make sure to support the local game store, although in all fairness, that's where this pack's going to come from. So, not that big a deal. All right, and then we've got another little ad card here. Join the Magic community. Talk with your local store about your first purchase. They'll help you get started no matter how you want to play. And we'll take a look at the other side, because I know with the previous one that we did, there were at least one side of one of these we didn't take a look at. So, there's no wrong way to play. Have fun and play with the group in Commander. Notice how Commander is at the top now. This to me really shows that the pecking order of things has changed. And this actually kind of does look how Wizards currently sets things up. So, have fun and play with the group in Commander. Play with the newest cards in Standard. Open boosters and play a new deck each time in Booster Draft. And this does look like how Wizards is currently ranking the formats. Commander over Standard, Standard over Booster Draft. As we've seen, set boosters have been kind of taking precedence over time, so that's not a real surprise to me. Now, starting out, this is the journey that a new person who maybe hasn't seen any Magic cards whatsoever is going to take. So the first thing they're going to see in terms of Magic cards is a nice shiny foil plains. A very simple card to look at. There's not a lot of text on it, right? You just have the word plains, basic land plains, and the mana symbol. And then you have the nice artwork where there is just a little lonely scarecrow hanging out with a big old pumpkin patch. So, I mean, that's not too bad a card to start on. A foil basic land's not a bad choice. Then we've got Dawnheart Rejuvenator. So this answers the question I had. I wondered if this was going to be completely redone so that the cards would be standard focused based on what's going on with Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So Dawnheart Rejuvenator is 1 green and 3 for a 2/4 human warlock. When Dawnheart Rejuvenator enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, and you can tap it to add a mana of any color. So again, a fairly straightforward concept as a card. We're not getting too convoluted here. You got a beefy little body in terms of 4 toughness, 2 power. Yeah, not that big a deal. When it shows up, you gain 3 life, which is going to feel good. And tapping it for a mana of any color is totally going to feel like, wow, this gives me a lot of options. This one is a foil, so you get a look at other foils as well. And it shows off that Magic can have these very impressive stylistic frames as well. Honestly, I do love all the different styles of frames that have shown up in Magic the Gathering over the years. So this is a pretty good card, I think, for beginners as well. Moving on, we've got Drownyard Amalgam. Now this one's a little more wordy. 1 blue and 4 for a 3/6 zombie horror, right? You had a human warlock, now you got a zombie horror, kind of showing the opposite sides of the spectrum here. It says, when Drownyard Amalgam enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. They put the top 3 cards of the library into their graveyard, and pay 1 blue and 2. Drownyard Amalgam can't be blocked this turn. So this one is wordy as well, but ultimately isn't really that complicated. Basically, just mill cards off the top of the deck, and it can't be blocked. The flavor text says, when human corpses are in short supply, Stitchers get creative. It is kind of crazy looking, right? You've got a body that's kind of mangled together out of a bunch of different things. The most striking part to me is the arm that looks like it's made out of a snake. It's like, we need another arm for this guy. Well, you know what? This dead snake is kind of arm-like. All right, whatever, man. Staple it on. Let's do it. All right. After that, we've got Commander's Sphere. So there's a card that's going to introduce people to the concept of Commander. 3 casting cost artifact. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So that brings a new concept into a beginner's mind. What is a commander color identity? Sacrifice Commander Sphere to draw a card. It harmonizes with the essence of its master. Well, that's actually a good way in terms of flavor text of explaining why a Commander Sphere works the way it does. It's a sphere that when you give it to a legendary being, it attunes to them and is able to draw on the types of magic that it is attuned to. So, conceptually, that's pretty solid. The artwork's all right, you know what I mean? You've got this kind of crazy little artifact sphere with magic glowing in the center of it. I mean, this looks like a candle holder you could see at somebody's house. What just happened? Get out of here. What are you focusing on now? Come on. Focus! Oh, what happened? There we go. Come on now. Come on now. I don't have another pack to start over with. I gotta stop using the backgrounds that have stuff for the game. This to focus on. All right, we're back. We're good. Okay, Commander Sphere, get on out of here. So now we've got Blade Stitched Scab. 1 black and blue for a 2/3 zombie lord. So this is a zombie soldier. Other zombies you control get +1/+0. So this is a card that can introduce multiple concepts at once. One is that multicolored cards exist, right? Because up until now, everything that we've seen has been monocolored. And the Commander Sphere talked about getting different colors of mana, but the idea that colors can combine is still going to be a new concept. And this also introduces the concept of tribal decks, right? Because we already saw 1 zombie, but that zombie doesn't care about any other cards. It can be unblockable, it mills, but it doesn't actually care about other zombies. Whereas the Blade Stitched Scab very much cares about other zombies, right? Even if you had 2 of these guys out, they make each other 3/3. So this introduced the concept of 2 beginners, of multicolored magic and tribal at the same time. The flavor text says, the surviving militia members reunited with their fallen comrades sooner than they'd hope. That is pretty unfortunate, you know? It's like, oh no, Billy! They put Billy's face on this. At least he doesn't have a snake for an arm. You know what? Never mind. That's not right, actually. If I was encountering something that was made up of the remnants of my friends, that'd be a lot more troubling than seeing a snake arm. Pretty dark artwork. Pretty intense. Look at that face, man. Look at that face. That's brutal. All right, what do we got next? We've got an Ardent Elementalist. 1 red and 3 for a 2/1 human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this gives you an idea that, oh wait, you know what? Once I've used resources, I can reacquire them. Or, if they paid attention to that zombie, now obviously, this could be information overload. So I'm not saying for sure that somebody's going to go through the progression in this way, but I do like thinking about it like that. So, now you've got something that feeds from the graveyard. So all of a sudden, that blue zombie that mills 3 cards into your graveyard, you could go, oh, wait a minute, I can use this to get one of those spells back, right? Like that kind of a concept is something that they might think of. They'll be like, whoa, okay, so that other guy targeted a player to mill. So I could mill my opponent's deck, but I could actually mill myself and put something in my graveyard I could grab back with this guy on top of just making your spells reusable. So the flavor text says, while the Dawnheart Witches focus their magic on nature and community, other covens consort with devils and twist the elements to their will. That's cool. Gives you the idea that, like, not all humanity is on the same page, right? You've got your witches out there who are trying to do we're going to do a nature ritual. And then you've got these ones over here who are like, you know what, actually, I care about elemental powers and connecting up with demons. That's pretty intense, man. I guess devils. I guess we need to be more specific. Not demons, devils. There is a difference. Devils tend to be more red aligned. Demons tend to be more black aligned. And devils mostly are like less harmful, more impish beings. They're still a big problem, don't get me wrong. They're just not on the same level as demons in terms of a threat. But either way, There's a lot of information that can be learned about the game through like just a small sampling of cards. After that, we've got Arlen, Voice of the Pack. So this gives you a look into like what planeswalkers are. It's interesting that they chose a War of the Spark planeswalker to include, but maybe it's because Arlen is literally featured in the story of Innistrad, so that makes her more of a natural fit for the Innistrad set. If you've seen her in the artwork or you've seen the other planeswalker cards, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I recognize her. And if not, once you see her here, and then you find out the Innistrad story is focused around her, you already have a little bit of information. So Arlen, Voice of the Pack, is 2 green and 4 for a legendary planeswalker. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and -2, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So this card obviously introduces the concept of a planeswalker, which is going to be a bit weird to wrap your head around, but you can see with the 7 and the -2 that this is going to make a number of wolves. She's the voice of the pack, and you can see that she is arrayed here in front of her pack that is kind of spread out as eyes in the darkness. So it gives you the idea that she's summoning up squads of wolves, and that works pretty well. Seems like a reasonable include for the pack, even if it isn't standard legal, and not everything we've seen has been, right? The Commander Sphere isn't standard legal, but everything else has been. After that, we have another insert card. It says, what? To that, is this on the wrong side? Hold on. Okay, yeah, they put this in backwards, because it looked like the other. So, meet Arlen Cord. I mean, shouldn't this card be right after Arlen? That I feel like that's a mistake. This should be flipped this way and should be before the Arlen in the Voice of the Pack. All right, so meet Arlen Cord. An Innistrad native, Arlen is more than she seems. While she may have struggled with her nature for most of her life, becoming a planeswalker has allowed her to shift her form at will. And you can see on this side, we're seeing as her daybound form, and then boom, nightbound form. That's her. Is that actually? I don't think that's Arlen, is it? To that of an immense and powerful werewolf. Is that what she actually looks like? I can't remember. As an ambassador and protector of her kind, she uses her ability to walk among both humans and werewolves to broker a tentative peace. Yeah, showing meet Arlen Cord should have come right before actually meeting Arlen Cord, and this should not be flipped this way. Then we've got, there's a rare in here. We've got Triskaidekaphobia. 1 black and 3 for an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep, choose one. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player gains 1 life. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player gains a life. Wait, did I just say the exact same thing? What? Each player with exactly 13... Oh, never mind. It's gain and lose a life. That's the difference between the two. And I've seen this card before when it came out. How am I this tripped up by it? But either way, this is a cool include. The unlucky 13, that's what this means. Triskaidekaphobia is fear of the number of 13, and there's actually a bunch of different instances of 13 in the artwork. If you take a look and count them up, the logs in the fireplace, the instruments up here, a number of different things. So this is a good include to give you the vibe of Innistrad, but from an older set. And obviously, it feels nice as a beginner to get that gold symboled rare action, right? So yeah, I'd say this is a good include. And it obviously also teaches you that there are alternate ways to win the game other than just straight up attacking your opponent. If you can maneuver them to exactly 13 life, then you can win the game in a different way. After that, we've got Rally the Ranks. This is a good include. 1 white and 1 enchantment. As the Rally the Rank enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. So this is a nice boosto enchantment. The flavor text says, Halvar united the spirits of all the clans into a single devastating force. A really simple concept. Choose your favorite creature type, and every creature of that type gets +1/+1. I really like cards like this. I remember when I started out, and I was using, I played a lot of green, but I also played white decks that had these boosting style enchantments, and it felt really good to give all your dudes +1/+1. And unlike back in the old days, where they had enchantments that would say, like, all creatures of this type get +1/+1. These cards now say, all creatures you control. So you no longer have to worry about giving your opponent a boost. And the artwork's awesome too. Look at this. Look at this crazy procession of spectral warriors that goes on endlessly. This is a good choice for an include, and it's a rare that's in standard. So if the person who gets this pack wants to get into standard, they can actually use this. And then we've got Skyfire Phoenix. Funky. What's this? 2 red and 2 for a 3/3 flyer with haste. When you cast your commander, return Skyfire Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So again, another card that speaks to commander players. Clearly, it's from a commander deck from the symbol. And it's a straightforward concept, right? Whenever you cast your commander, you automatically get this guy back. And that totally has the Phoenix feel. Look at this intense Phoenix rising from the ashes to fly again in fury. So yeah, man, that seems like a good include. And then, oh, this is a code that will get you a deck online. So every one of these packs will include a code like this. Every single deck is the same though. So if you get one, then getting multiples of these packs won't issue you an extra deck or anything like that. So depending on when you see this video, if you can access this code, feel free to have it. Anyways, I have to say, overall, this is a very good welcome pack. I like it. The only, literal only complaint that I have is this should have been put before Arlen and should have been facing forwards instead of flipped backwards. But honestly, that's a pretty minor nitpick. So, let me know what you think of this iteration of the intro packs. If you didn't already catch it when I said it at the beginning of the video, these are packs that are given away at LGSs. So if you have a local game store and you want to get into Magic, you're new to Magic, you can get yourself one of these. And I do like as well that they haven't loaded it down with anything of significant financial value, so you don't have to worry about basically people coming in and trying to scam for them. Because when Wizards gives away free stuff and it has monetary value, people will travel from other cities trying to snap it all up and tricking store owners and stuff. So it gets a little muddy, and I don't like it. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what's going on here, like the video, share it around. That's great for the channel. Big thank you to all my patrons for supporting me, and I will see you guys next time.